Did you know that in Argentina, a country once known as the Paris of South America, people now struggle to afford basic groceries? With inflation rates over 100%, life in this former economic powerhouse has become a daily battle for survival. But there's more to this story than just numbers. Argentina's story is one of dramatic highs and lows. In the early 20th century, this South American nation was among the wealthiest in the world. Its vast agricultural lands and booming economy made it a magnet for millions of immigrants seeking a better life. But today, Argentina tells a very different tale. Maria, our guide through Buenos Aires, knows this history well. Her great-grandparents were among the 7 million immigrants who flocked to Argentina during its golden age. They came seeking opportunity and found it in abundance. Little did they know that their descendants would face a harsh economic reality just a few generations later. Fast forward to today, and Argentina's economy is in shambles. Inflation has skyrocketed to over 100%, turning everyday life into a constant struggle. Half the population now lives below the poverty line, a stark contrast to the country's prosperous past. For Maria, this isn't just a statistic, it's her daily reality. Her monthly salary of $400 barely scratches the surface of her family's needs. The grocery bill alone for her family of 4 comes to a staggering $1,200. Each trip to the market is a harsh reminder of how far Argentina has fallen. But how did Argentina go from riches to rags? The roots of this crisis run deep. Decades of government mismanagement, a heavy national debt, and the impact of international monetary policies have all played a part. The legacy of economic instability dates back to the military dictatorship of the late 1970s and early 1980s, which set off a cycle of debt and financial turmoil that continues to this day. And as Maria walks through the streets of Buenos Aires, the signs of economic distress are everywhere. Storefronts that once bustled with activity now stand empty. Long lines form outside banks as people desperately try to protect their savings. The peso, once a strong currency, now loses value by the day. The impact on everyday life is profound. Many Argentinians, like Maria, are turning to creative solutions just to make ends meet. Some seek remote work with foreign companies, hoping to earn in more stable currencies. Others rely on informal markets and bartering systems to get by. In a cruel twist of irony, while locals struggle, Argentina has become a bargain for foreign visitors. The country now ranks among the top 10 cheapest cities to live in for foreigners. This disparity creates a surreal atmosphere where tourists dine in high-end restaurants while locals struggle to afford basic necessities. But perhaps the most shocking aspect of Argentina's economic crisis is how it's reshaping social norms. Young adults who once dreamed of independence now find themselves living with parents well into their 30s. Families who once enjoyed regular outings now treat a simple meal at a restaurant as a rare luxury. As night falls, Maria joins friends at a local cafe. Over steaming cups of mate, Argentina's traditional herbal drink, they share stories of their daily struggles. One friend jokes darkly, "At least inflation is the one thing Argentina excels at these days." The laughter that follows is tinged with frustration and disbelief. Yet amid the economic chaos, there's a resilience that shines through. Argentinians have weathered economic storms before, and they're determined to do so again. But the question remains, how long can they hold on? And what will it take to turn the tide? In Argentina, survival isn't just about making ends meet, it's an art form. As Maria steps out of her family's apartment, she's armed with a mix of pesos and US dollars. Why carry 2 currencies? Because in Argentina, the dollar isn't just a foreign currency, it's a lifeline. Imagine going to buy bread only to find the price has doubled overnight. This is the reality for millions of Argentines. To cope, many have turned to the US dollar as a shield against the peso's wild fluctuations. It's not uncommon to see prices for big-ticket items like cars or apartments listed in dollars. Even some everyday transactions are conducted in greenbacks as locals desperately try to preserve their purchasing power. But it's not just about currency juggling. Maria, like many young Argentines, still lives with her parents at 28. This isn't a choice, it's a necessity. With rent costs skyrocketing and salaries struggling to keep pace, moving out has become a distant dream for many. Multi-generational households are now the norm, not the exception. As Maria walks down the bustling streets of Buenos Aires, she passes a group of friends sharing mate. This traditional yerba mate drink is more than just a beverage. It's a social ritual that binds Argentines together, especially in tough times. The sight of people passing around a mate gourd is as common as seeing people sipping coffee in other parts of the world. But mate is more than just a drink. It's a symbol of resilience and community. In a country where economic uncertainty is a constant companion, the simple act of sharing mate becomes a powerful reminder of the bonds that hold society together. It's not uncommon to see people from all walks of life, rich and poor, young and old, bonding over this bitter brew. As Maria continues her journey through Buenos Aires, the city's stark economic divide becomes impossible to ignore. In upscale neighborhoods like Recoleta, luxury cars line the streets and high-end boutiques display prices that would make even a tourist's eyes water. But just a few blocks away in areas like La Boca, the signs of poverty are unmistakable. Crumbling buildings, makeshift markets, and long lines at soup kitchens tell a very different story. This contrast is a daily reality for Argentines. While some neighborhoods seem untouched by the economic crisis, others bear the full brunt of hyperinflation and poverty. It's a visual representation of the widening wealth gap that has come to define modern Argentina. Yet, amid this economic turmoil, Argentina has become an unexpected paradise for foreign visitors and digital nomads. The country now ranks among the top 10 cheapest cities to live in for foreigners. This creates a surreal situation where tourists can live like kings while locals struggle to afford basics. As one local resident put it, it's cheap to live here if you have an American salary, but if you have an Argentine salary, you're absolutely screwed. This stark reality has led to a boom in remote work, with many Argentines seeking jobs with foreign companies to earn in more stable currencies. The informal economy has also exploded. Barter systems, community exchanges, and underground markets have become crucial survival tactics. It's not uncommon to see people trading goods and services directly, bypassing the volatile peso altogether. But perhaps the most surprising survival tactic is the resilience of Argentine culture itself. Despite the economic hardships, the streets of Buenos Aires still pulse with life. Tango clubs are packed, cafes buzz with conversation, and parks are filled with families and friends sharing mate. Argentina's economic crisis has created a paradox that's hard to ignore. While locals like Maria struggle to make ends meet, the country has become a paradise for foreign visitors and digital nomads. Believe it or not, Argentina now ranks among the top 10 cheapest cities to live in for foreigners. This bizarre situation means tourists can live like royalty while Argentines can barely afford basics. Imagine sipping a $2 coffee in a trendy Buenos Aires cafe surrounded by locals who can afford their daily bread. That's the reality in Argentina today. Foreign currencies go a long way here, creating a surreal divide between visitors and residents. It's not uncommon to see tourists dining in high-end restaurants while locals line up at soup kitchens just blocks away. This economic disparity has led to some unexpected consequences. Many Argentines, desperate to earn in stable currencies, are turning to remote work for foreign companies. Others are exploring more controversial means of survival. One of these is prostitution, which surprisingly is legal in Argentina. The legalization of prostitution has become a double-edged sword. On one hand, it provides a means of income for those facing extreme economic hardship. On the other, it raises serious concerns about exploitation in the intersection of economic desperation with the country's reputation for sexy women. Maria, like many Argentine women, has conflicted feelings about this reputation. She's proud of her country's passionate culture and the beauty of its people, but she's also aware of how this image can be manipulated and exploited, especially in times of economic crisis. Sometimes it feels like we're reduced to stereotypes, Maria confides. We're more than just sexy women or tango dancers. We're people struggling to survive in a broken economy. This struggle is evident in the streets of Buenos Aires. By day, you might see women protesting against rising living costs and economic inequality. By night, some of these same women might be working in the city's red light districts, trying to make ends meet. The government's awareness of this situation reflects the broader challenges facing the population. It's a complex issue with no easy solutions. The legalization of prostitution was intended to provide protection and rights for sex workers, but in the context of economic crisis, it's become a survival strategy for many. Yet amidst these challenges, the resilience of the Argentine people shines through. Despite the economic hardships, the streets of Buenos Aires still pulse with life. Tango clubs are packed, cafes buzz with conversation, and parks are filled with families and friends sharing mate. This resilience is perhaps best exemplified by the country's vibrant nightlife. Even as wallets empty and prices soar, Argentines find ways to enjoy life. It's not uncommon to see people dancing the night away in clubs, momentarily forgetting their economic woes. We dance because we must, says Carlos, a local tango instructor. It's in our blood. No economic crisis can take that away from us. This ability to find joy in the midst of hardship is a testament to the Argentine spirit. It's a culture that values connection, passion, and living in the moment, even when the future seems uncertain. But make no mistake, this resilience comes at a cost. Many Argentines are living double lives, working multiple jobs, or turning to unconventional means to survive. The economic crisis has forced people to be creative, resourceful, and often to make difficult choices. As night falls on Buenos Aires, Maria reflects on the paradoxes of her beloved country. She sees the beauty and the struggle, the allure and the desperation. She feels the weight of Argentina's reputation and the reality of its economic crisis. As night falls on Buenos Aires, the city transforms. The economic worries of the day fade into the background, replaced by the pulsing rhythms of tango and the laughter of friends sharing mate. This is where Argentina's true spirit shines through, in its rich cultural heritage and the unbreakable bonds of community. Tango, once the dance of the lower classes, has become a powerful symbol of Argentine identity. In dimly lit milongas across the city, locals and tourists alike embrace and glide across worn wooden floors. Maria, our guide through Argentina's complexities, finds solace in these moments. When I dance tango, she says, I'm connected to generations of Argentines who came before me. It's like our history comes alive with every step. But the night isn't just for dancing. In parks and plazas, groups gather to share mate, the bitter herbal tea that's more than just a drink. It's a social ritual. As the gourd is passed from hand to hand, conversations flow freely. Topics range from the latest football matches to the country's economic woes. It's here, over mate, that Argentines find strength in each other. The next morning, Maria joins a crowd gathering in Plaza de Mayo. The air is thick with tension as people raise signs protesting the rising cost of living. No más hambre, no more hunger, they chant. Maria feels a mix of anger and pride as she looks around at her fellow citizens. Even though people breathe the same air in the city, they don't interfere with each other, criticize each other's life choices or clothing styles, and don't try to assert dominance, she observes, noting the diversity of the crowd. This protest is just one example of how Argentines come together in times of crisis. From neighborhood soup kitchens to community gardens, people are finding creative ways to support each other. In Argentina, both children are attached to their parents, and parents are very attached to their children, Maria explains. This strong family bond extends beyond blood relations, creating a safety net that helps many weather the economic storm. As the sun sets, the streets of Buenos Aires come alive once again. Despite empty wallets and uncertain futures, Argentines refuse to give up their vibrant nightlife. Cafes buzz with animated discussions, while clubs pulse with music until the early hours. For many, these nightly gatherings are a form of resistance against the hardships of daily life. Maria meets friends at a local bar where the conversation flows as freely as the wine. They share stories of struggle and triumph, punctuated by bursts of laughter. We Argentines have a saying, one friend jokes, we're so used to economic crises we could give masterclasses in survival. This ability to find humor in hardship is quintessentially Argentine. It's a coping mechanism, yes, but it's also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. In a country where the future is uncertain, laughter becomes a form of defiance. As the night wears on, Maria reflects on her growing sense of cultural pride. Despite the challenges, or perhaps because of them, she feels a deep connection to her Argentine identity. We're more than our economic problems, she muses. We're a people of passion, creativity, and unbreakable spirit. This cultural pride is evident in every aspect of Argentine life. From the vibrant street art that transforms city walls into canvases, to the fervor with which people support their local football teams, Argentines wear their identity with pride. Even in the face of adversity, there's a sense that being Argentine is something special. As Argentina gears up for its presidential elections in October 2023, the air is thick with anticipation and uncertainty. For Maria and millions of young Argentines, this election represents more than just a change in leadership. It's a pivotal moment that could shape the country's economic future. Walking through the bustling streets of Buenos Aires, Maria can't help but feel torn. The vibrant culture and strong community bonds that define Argentina pull at her heart, urging her to stay and fight for her country's future. The harsh economic realities push her to consider opportunities abroad where her skills might be better rewarded. Maria's not alone in this dilemma. Many of her friends are facing the same tough choice: stick it out in Argentina or seek greener pastures elsewhere. It's a conversation that dominates cafe meetups and family dinners across the nation. Sometimes I feel like I'm betraying my country by even thinking about leaving, Maria confides to a friend over mate. But how long can we keep struggling just to afford basic necessities? The upcoming elections offer a glimmer of hope. Political candidates are promising radical changes to address the country's economic woes. Plans to tackle inflation, boost investor confidence, and create jobs are at the forefront of every campaign. But Argentines have heard these promises before. After years of economic mismanagement and failed policies, skepticism runs deep. As one local put it, it's like a relationship. You have to create trust and it's not happening. Despite the challenges, there are signs of potential recovery. Some sectors like agribusiness, energy, mining, and digital services show promise for growth. These industries could provide the boost Argentina's economy desperately needs. Maria, with her background in digital marketing, sees opportunities in these emerging sectors. She wonders if staying in Argentina and contributing to its recovery might be more fulfilling than starting over in a foreign land. And as election day approaches, the streets of Buenos Aires become a battleground of ideas. Campaign posters plaster every available surface, and heated debates erupt in cafes and on street corners. The energy is palpable, a mix of hope, fear, and determination. Maria attends a series of campaign rallies, listening intently to each candidate's proposals. She's looking for more than just promises. She wants concrete plans that address the root causes of Argentina's economic crisis. One candidate catches her attention with a detailed strategy to stabilize the peso and attract foreign investment. Another presents a comprehensive plan to boost local industries and create jobs. For the first time in years, Maria feels a spark of hope for her country's future. But hope alone isn't enough to pay the bills. Maria knows she needs to make a decision soon: stay in Argentina and weather the storm, hoping for better days ahead, or leave behind everything she knows for the promise of stability abroad. As she weighs her options, Maria reflects on everything she's learned about her country's complex situation. She thinks about the resilience of the Argentine people, their ability to find joy even in the toughest times. She remembers the packed tango clubs, the lively street markets, the passionate football fans, all testaments to Argentina's indomitable spirit. But she also can't ignore the harsh realities: the daily struggle to make ends meet, the frustration of watching her savings evaporate due to inflation, the fear of an uncertain future. These are challenges that can't be solved overnight, even with a change in government. In the end, Maria's decision comes down to more than just economics. It's about identity, purpose, and the kind of future she wants to build. After weeks of soul-searching, Maria makes her choice. She decides to stay in Argentina, at least for now. The upcoming elections and the potential for change have given her renewed hope. She wants to be part of Argentina's recovery story, to contribute her skills and passion to rebuilding her beloved country. If not us, then who? She asks herself. If we all leave, who will be left to fight for Argentina's future?